In Center of Africa Centers for Disease Control in Nigeria, just as he approved the appointment of Dr. Temitope as the new Director General, NACA. Members of the Northern Governors Forum in crucial closed-door meeting with the National Security Advisor and Chief. The Nigerian military seeks international assistance in rescue of school children and other people recently abducted by terrorists in the country. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of the Regional Coordinating Center of the Africa Centers for Disease Control in Nigeria, just as he approved the appointment of Dr. Temitope as the new Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, as well as the relocation of NACA to Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Temitope, before her appointment, was a senior lecturer in the Department of Community Medicine, University of Ibadan, and a consultant family physician in the Department of Family Medicine, University College Hospital, Ibadan. She graduated as the Best Graduating Fellow of the Faculty of Family Medicine, West African College of Physicians in April 2012, winning the A.O. Sebanjo Prize, Ibadan, Nigeria. She is a PhD Fellow at the Department of the Family Medicine and Primary Care, Faculty of Health Science, University of Ibadan. Her areas of research interests include primary care, immunization, public health, nutrition, non-communicable diseases, and women's and child's health. She is a prolific researcher who has co-authored over 30 publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals and has been involved in policy formulation and strategic development. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajiri Ngalale, says the President expects that the newly appointed Chief Medical Directors, leveraging their vast experience and professional competence, will facilitate the persistent delivery of quality healthcare services to all Nigerians in tandem with the Renewed Hope agenda. Meanwhile, the President has approved the relocation of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. NACA was previously domiciled in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajiri Ngalale, indicates that the relocation of NACA to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is to foster synergy and enhance collaboration in pursuit of the nation's goal to achieve the 95-95-95 pathway for ending the AIDS epidemic. It added that, in line with his topmost priority of manifesting the renewed hope agenda of his administration across sectors, the President is determined to consistently harmonize institutions within and between the different sectors in country, ensuring improved coordination and synergy among agencies for efficient and qualitative service delivery to all Nigerians. In the meantime, President Tinubu is in the African Union Champion for Human Resources for Health and Community Health Delivery Partnership. A statement by his Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajiri Ngalale, states that the President's approval of the sitting of the center in Abuja is part of his large effort to convey Nigeria's commitment to regional and global health security, while promoting local economic opportunities in the health care delivery value chain, and enhancing Nigeria's and West Africa's collective capacity to respond promptly to outbreaks, which is vital to the overall well-being and stability of the African continent. He believes the center will also bring enormous socio-economic benefits in the form of enhancing aggregate national productivity and reversing human capacity drain, even as the ability of indigenous medical professionals and scientists will be bolstered to respond adequately to old, recent, and emerging diseases, not only in Nigeria, but across the continent. Still on appointment, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Dr. James Nimi Omiatimi as Chief Medical Director of the Federal Medical Center in Abuja, Bayelsa State, for an initial term of 4 years. Also appointed is Professor Saad Aliyu Ahmed as Chief Medical Director of the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, for a second term of 4 years. Dr. Omiatimi is an accomplished medical professional. He graduated from the University of Port Harcourt in 1994 with a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree, and began his medical career with specialization in obstetrics and gynecology. While Dr. Saad Ahmed is a distinguished professor of pathology at Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, currently serving as the Chief Medical Director of the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, for 4 years during his initial tenure. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Nigerian said the President expects that the newly appointed Chief Medical Directors, leveraging their vast experience and professional competence, will facilitate the consistent delivery of quality healthcare services to all Nigerians in tandem with the Renewed Hope agenda. As part of his dedicated effort to building robust human resources for the health and social welfare sector, President Bola Tinubu has again approved the conversion of the Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy in Enugu to a full-fledged University of Allied Health Sciences. The Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy in Enugu will now be known as the Federal University of Allied Health Sciences in Enugu and will be domiciled under the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Nigerian indicates that this presidential directive comes at a time when the current administration is set to train 120,000 frontline health workers nationwide within 16 months to double the number of primary health facilities in local communities across all local government areas of the Federation, from 8,800 presently to over 17,000 over the next 3 years. The government is also targeting to double the number of health personnel graduating from accredited nursing and midwifery institutions over the next 3 years in order to meet the aspirations of Nigerians for accessible, affordable, and qualitative healthcare services across the nation. Now to the news. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the federal government under President Bola Tinubu will continue to harness the experience of intellectuals and policy experts in actualizing the government's Renewed Hope agenda. He said this when he received the board and management of Built Costard, a government affairs outfit strategic policy communications and advisory firm at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abraman Jibrila reports that Vice President Kashim Shettima applauded the foresight of the managing partner of the firm and former Minister of Information Lai Mohammed, noting that the assemblage of renewed experts across diverse fields at the firms was commendable. He said the caliber of people covering a wide spectrum of areas including security, energy, international diplomacy, communications, and others is a testimony of the seriousness of the group. Former Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, who led the team, thanked the Vice President for the opportunity to share insights on the firm's activities and its proposal for the present administration. In addressing contemporary challenges, pledging the firm's commitment to supporting the administration in succeeding in its task of transforming Nigeria, Lai Mohammed assured that the firm will deploy resources within its areas of expertise to support the government in addressing challenges in the economy and related areas. And our members of the North, on March 8, This year, when Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu advocated capital punishment for convicted kidnappers in the country, she was not missing words. She has again renewed the call, this time during an audience with senators from Lagos State, urging the National Assembly to join in the campaign against the menace with stiffer laws. And as State House correspondent NTAi has that report.
The trio of Senators Tokunbo Abiru, Wasiu Eshinlokun, and Oluroti Adebule represent the three senatorial districts of Lagos East, Lagos Central, and Lagos West in the National Assembly. Their predecessor, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who represented Lagos Central for 12 years, is the current First Lady of Nigeria. They are here at the villa to tap from a wealth of experience as a former legislator.
It gladdens my heart.
Thank you. That and more, the First Lady was willing to give, and she started by reminding them of the role of the National Assembly in enacting laws to meet contemporary challenges. For instance, insecurity and the menace of kidnapping.
We are at war with all these people coming to pick our children. Yeah. So I want to see the National Assembly taking a more robust stand that, this has to be, capital punishment should be in place.
Certain that there are better days ahead, the First Lady stressed the need for leaders to give hope to Nigerians. Grateful for her counsel, the lawmakers expressed readiness to work with their colleagues in the Red Chamber to enact laws that support the Bola Tinubu-led government in its stride to secure the country.
Her Excellency has guided us is for us to, as legislators, to make sure that we continue to look for laws that will continue in the direction of growing the country, improving security, you understand, and so those are the benefits you get from an association like this.
I call for a death penalty for kidnappers. Is that receiving attention from the National Assembly as we speak?
I won't say immediately, but it's something that we should consider. No matter how stiff that penalty is, I don't think it's too much or too harsh.
Beyond the possibility of enacting laws on capital punishment for convicted kidnappers, the chairman, Southern Senators Forum, says the National Assembly will also consider establishing improved budgetary framework for the security sector in the country. In the State House, NTAi, NTAi News.
And our news on security, members of the Northern Governors Forum are in a crucial closed-door meeting with the National Security Advisor and service chiefs in Abuja. The meeting, holding in the office of the National Security Advisor, started at about 2 p.m. and may not be connected with the recent mass abduction of students and other citizens in the region. Terrorists had on March 7 abducted 287 students from a primary and secondary school in Kuriga, Kaduna State, while 112 internally displaced persons in Gambaro, Gala, Borno were also abducted by terrorists. The abduction by 15 Quranic school students in Sokoto State followed the Kuriga incidents as more communities, especially in Katsina, Zamfara, and Kaduna States, face daily attacks from bandits, leading to a huge humanitarian crisis. And in other news, the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Nantap, directs all comptroller stations at states and relevant border commands to promptly ensure strict compliance with the presidential directives to reopen the border with the Niger Republic and lift restrictions on human movements. In a statement, the immigration boss assures the service of unwavering dedication to facilitating safe and orderly border crossing while upholding the integrity and security of Nigeria's borders. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger and the lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. This directive is in compliance with the decisions of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments. ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments at its extraordinary summit in February in Abuja. You're still watching the news on NTAi International. We'll take a short break now. Staying with us, the United Nations has revealed that escalating violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has led to the displacement of at least 250,000 persons. The agency says the crisis, which has lingered for past months has resulted into a humanitarian crisis, and Francis Udojo brings us details of that report.
Far from the country's capital, Kinshasa, Eastern Congo has long been overrun by more than 120 armed groups seeking a share of the region's gold and other resources while carrying out massacres. This, an UN official says, is one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, with an estimated 7 million people displaced, many of whom are beyond the reach of aid. Amid intensifying fighting with security forces, the M23 rebel group, the most dominant in the region and believed to have links with neighboring Rwanda, continued to attack villages, forcing many to flee to Goma, the region's largest city, whose estimated population of 2 million is already overwhelmed by inadequate resources. Reports say, although M23 has said it targets security forces and not civilians, it has besieged several communities, with about half of North Kivu province under its control, leaving many people trapped and beyond the reach of humanitarian aid. Re-elected for a second 5-year term in December, Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi accused neighboring Rwanda of providing military support to the rebels. Rwanda denies the accusations, but UN experts have said there is substantial evidence of the presence of its forces in Congo. For the Congolese, they hope the crisis in the region will soon be brought to an end. Francis Udojo, NTAi News.
Francis Udojo also reports that the Association Overseeing Chinese Journalists has issued a statement of protest after reporters were blocked by residents and security guards while trying to report on the aftermath of an explosion at a restaurant in Hebei province of China.
The explosion, which occurred on Wednesday morning, was suspected to have been triggered by a gas leak at a fried chicken shop in Sahel, a city in Hebei province. The explosion ripped off the facade of nearby buildings, killing 7 persons and injuring 27 others. As reporters from the state-run radio and television, as well as foreign journalists based in Beijing, arrived at the scene, some were verbally challenged by the crowd and physically prevented from conducting interviews or filming. Though news is highly controlled in China due to concerns of social stability and national security, but it has come under criticism by many who believe it is unusual for state journalists to be prevented from reporting in public. The All China Journalists Association, overseen by China's Communist Party, said in a statement following the Sahel explosion, the local governments should support reporters in their work, especially after a major emergency incident. The Association in Defense of Reporters' Right to Report says reporters must not be obstructed from their normal duties in a rough manner just to control public opinion. Sahel's government, in a statement on Thursday, apologized for the poor communication skills of frontline staff as they tried to persuade reporters to leave due to the risk of another gas leak. The statement asked that they are deeply aware that safeguarding journalists on legitimate reportage is needed to satisfy the public's right to know. Francis Udojo, NTAi News.
Back in Nigeria, the House Committee on Oversight Function to the Ministry of Environment says it will roll out legislation that will provide for more budgetary allocations for the ministry to advance environmental gains in Nigeria. The House, as part of its statutory functions, was at the ministry to familiarize itself with operations, deliberate on the ministry's constraints, and collectively provide solutions. Members of the committee probed to acquaint themselves with the ministry's agenda on waste recycling, open defecation, erosion, sources of funding, and how it is leveraging opportunities made available by international bodies to ameliorate the impact of escalating climate change. The ministry, on its part, put before the House Committee on Environment for their consideration inadequate budgetary allocations to the ministry, empowerment of National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NTAi, to effectively carry out monitoring and implementation of environmental laws, as well as increasing destruction of forests and biodiversity.
That issue which is quite fundamental, which I know we have been doing, that the issue of the bandits turning our forests into their homes. The roadmap is being worked out, and by the time it's completed, we'll come to you for your support.
Look at our budget as an example. We are one of the most least funded ministries of the federal government.
We have looked at, they have raised the grey areas. We will go, we looked at them, and anywhere we can help by way of legislation, certainly the House of Representatives will help.
The visit by the House Committee on Environment is expected to strengthen relationship with the ministry and forge a new path for a safe and cleaner environment. The Nigerian military is seeking international assistance in gathering intelligence for the rescue of school children and other people recently abducted by terrorists in the country. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Boba, in a news conference says though the victims are held in hard-to-reach locations, troops will stop at nothing to rescue them alive. From Borno, Kaduna to Sokoto, more than 400 people, mostly students, are being held by terrorists in what military authorities now describe as reprisals for the killing of terror warlords. In a bid to carry out rescue operations, the military authorities have reached for international assistance to gather intelligence.
Accordingly, they are providing the necessary support, including intelligence, that is giving us the advantage in dealing with the ugly situation.
In the wake of the kidnapping, President Tinubu stressed that nothing short of rescue would be acceptable.
Several of their leaders and their commanders have been neutralized as a result of troops' onslaught. They want to use these hostages as human shield for their survival. That is how desperate they are. Nevertheless, be assured that we will not rest until these hostages are returned.
For now, expectations are high and all eyes are on the security forces to rescue the victims alive. Now, the Nigerian Communication Commission and the Voice of Nigeria are set to upscale their partnership in the fight against fake news and misinformation, as well as embark on massive awareness campaign on the rights of telecommunication consumers in the country. This came to the fore when the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Malam Jibrin and Baba Dache, paid a courtesy visit on the management of NCC in Abuja. Chukunonso Nwapese reports.
With Nigeria accounting for the highest telecommunication users in Africa, protecting the rights of these millions of consumers in the industry becomes even more important. This visit by the Director General Voice of Nigeria, Malam Jibrin Babandache, and his management into the headquarters of the Nigerian Telecommunication Commission, NCC, is to further strengthen already existing collaboration between the two agencies, especially in the area of protecting the rights of telecommunication consumers in the country.
At every point, NCC is always deliberate in intervening where they see that the right of the consumers are being trampled upon by the provider. I would like to also commend you for that. You are doing a lot in terms of consistently telling your story, but we want VON platform to be one of the platforms that should be the driver in telling the story.
The Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, Aminu Meida, represented by the Executive Commissioner Designate Technical Services of the Commission, Abraham Oshademi, expressed NCC's readiness to leverage on VON numerous platforms in realizing its mandate.
We want to assure you that this commitment it's a mutual benefit thing. And we are delighted as a commission to hear from you to say that you're ready, and you have already even started with the instruction you have given, that you're ready to give us all the support. We hope that this collaboration will continue to be strengthened even as time goes on.
The DG and his team earlier made a similar visit to the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Musa Aliyu, SAN, where the two agencies agreed to amplify the anti-corruption campaign of the federal government. Chukwunonsonwa Bweze, NTAi News.
And now let's take a look at the weather outlook in Nigeria and some parts of the world. Well, that's it on the news. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Alpha, and Precious Zomine is our sign language interpreter.